Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on when you're listening to this voice presentation form. So my name is Victor, and I'm going to be your anchor for the Cisco CyberOps training. It's a 28th series training uh, that focuses on training first level or tier one SOC analysts. So we're exhausted from module 1 up to 14, and this is the 15th module in the series. And we're going to be looking at network monitoring and tools. Network monitoring and tools. Now, what's our goal? What's our objectives? We want to monitor our network. Why do we need to monitor our network? It's very self-explanatory. You see, it can be your network, it can be your web servers, it can be your cloud servers, it can be any of your IT infrastructure, it can be adapted to that. The point is that imagine you have a secured building. I mean, a secured building. You have CCTV cameras. You have the army. You have the police. You have several whatever. But you don't have monitoring and control, right? You have CCTV cameras, but nobody is watching it. Nobody is looking at it and trying to make decisions from it. That is how it is when you have IT security, but you are not monitoring every point in time. Sniffing through your network, sniffing through packets of data across your network, checking the logs of your web servers to identify error messages, to identify logins that were successful and logins that they were not successful. Because if you can be able to identify that on your website you had like there's a case I'm handling now for a web application that has over 10,000 logins, right? Spamish logins. So if that application was not monitored, there was no way you can know about that. And the point is that most of the times when people don't monitor these things, it now gets to a point where the system is now completely compromised. And at that point, you now start doing forensics. And I told you guys that forensic is an aftermath of an attack most times. So you want to be doing offensive security instead of defensive security. Because defensive security is more or less trying to mitigate stuff that has happened or stuff that are about to happen. Whereas offensive is the real deal. You preparing before you have an attack. So what are the importance of network monitoring? It's a very short module, just 24 slides. It just has basically some important tools, and some of them you might have used, like Wireshark and the rest. And if it's for web applications, you have WAF, Web Application Firewall, and you have things like Sucuri, MPEVA, SolarWind. These tools you can use to monitor your network. You just need to familiarize yourself with those tools and start using it to monitor your network, monitor your web applications, so that you can have a very much secure systems. So you have IDS, IPS. We've talked about that. They will help you mitigate, prevent attacks. Okay, network taps, traffic mirroring and span. Trying to pick out what is very, very important and critical. Okay, yeah, we have security monitoring tools. You have Wireshark and TCP dump. You call them protocol analyzers. You also have SAM. So SAM are for, of course, corporate organizations that can spend well above $3,000 to monitor their entire network. So you could monitor your systems in. And the beauty about the SAM is that it's most of the times GUI. You have protocols. You can do a lot of settings, and you trigger alerts, and you can even impute mitigating factors whenever you have such kind of attack. So if we want to classify our monitoring tools, you can classify them as protocol analyzer, SAM, and NetFlow. So this is what a protocol analyzer looks like. Wireshark, right? Wireshark comes with Linux, Kali Linux operating system, but you can download and install Wireshark on your Windows machine. TCP dump, right, is also a utility in Linux. NetFlow is proprietary to Cisco. Then SEM, you could use that for forensic analysis, correlation, aggregation, and reporting. That's the beauty about a SEM, and that's what is in vogue now. Same thing with a SOA. So what will a SOA do? A SOA will respond. That's what makes a SOA different from a SEM. So a SAR goes ahead to not just see what is bad, what is happening that is not what we want to happen, and goes ahead to now try to respond to such attacks. Okay, so components of a SEM can include Elasticsearch, Logstash, Kibana. So what Elasticsearch does is that it's able to help us search. For Logstash, we're able to do piping. For Kibana, very beautiful. If you implement Security Onion, for instance, you're going to see this stuff, right? Even SolarWind. What it does is that it's not able to give you a dashboard where you can see most of these attacks. You can see it by date, you can filter, and you can see where you have attacks, where you have spikes in traffic, so that you can easily monitor most of those things. Okay, I think there's a packet tracer lab. So that's all for the module 15 of the Cisco CyberOps. So this module is about network monitoring. So one of the things you want to start exploring is how can I use Wireshark and how can I be a master of Wireshark? How can I use SolarWind and how can I be a master of SolarWind? These two tools that have great industry standard. Wireshark is open source, whereas SolarWind is a paid software. You can also explore Security Onion is open source also. Okay, thank you very much and see you in module 16.